Welcome to Part 5 of the Big Score Take Action Plan, Disputing Do's and Don'ts. In the world of disputing credit, there are many mistakes that consumers make daily that not only cause their credit scores to go down, but that can also cause them to lose a valid challenge with the credit bureau. Today, in Part 5 of the Big Score Take Action Plan series, I'm going to give you some great tips that will help you avoid making the most common credit disputing mistakes. So be sure to have a pen and paper ready and to take notes. The first tip is to always dispute derogatory accounts with the credit bureaus first, before pursuing more in-depth solutions. This way, any item that does not belong in the credit report will be removed, and doing so will save you a lot of time in pursuing dispute activity with collection agencies or creditors who don't exist anymore or who don't have your records on file anymore. Now, tip 2, not all creditors report to all 3 credit bureaus. One of the most important pieces of advice I can give you when it comes to disputing derogatory accounts is to make sure that you only dispute the credit bureaus that are reporting the derogatory item. Remember, not all creditors report to all 3 credit bureaus, so if you send a letter of dispute to a bureau that is not reporting a negative item, you risk having that item added to that bureau credit report. Now, word of caution, for those who may be considering hiring a professional company to help, you should know that in an effort to minimize costs, many credit repair companies make the mistake of sending a blanket dispute letter to all 3 credit bureaus. You want to make sure that this doesn't happen. So I always make sure that I have all 3 credit reports before I start the dispute process with any of my clients. Okay, tip number 3. If finances will allow, try to send all correspondence certified, or at least the most important items, being items where you have documented proof of your claim. In my experience, when the credit bureaus receive correspondence certified, they take those disputes seriously and are more likely to pay attention and respond more quickly. Now, there's no need to pay additional fees for registered return receipt. All you need is proof that they received your letter, and you can print off a certified tracking receipt from the post office's website the day after delivery. Tip 4 is to always refer to the dispute identifier numbers when communicating with the credit bureau. The dispute identifier is the number assigned to a credit report by the credit bureau for identification purposes and for tracking disputes. If you do not refer to the dispute number in response to a credit bureau's investigation results, you risk having to start your dispute process all over again. Now, here's how each bureau labels their dispute identifier numbers. Equifax calls their dispute identifier a confirmation number. Experian's identifier is called a file number. And TransUnion calls theirs a report number. Okay, tip 5, avoid being labeled frivolous. Inundating credit bureaus with dispute letters is the worst strategy that you can use. Under Section 611 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it's plain and simple that a credit bureau has the right to consider your disputes frivolous or irrelevant. If you inundate that bureau with letters without supporting documents, the bureaus will eventually refuse to reinvestigate. So let's talk about some ways that you can avoid being labeled frivolous. First, don't dispute more than 2 to 3 items per letter, with the exception of wrong names, wrong addresses, personal and demographic information. Second, dispute items for which you have documented proof for first, and on separate letters. And once you receive confirmation from the credit bureau that they have corrected that item on your credit report, then you can move on to the next level of disputing items for which you lack proof. And the third way to avoid being labeled frivolous is if there are multiple credit items that you're disputing, you should not waste your time or risk reaching this dispute threshold for late pays that are over 24 months old, unless you have documented proof to support your claim. Okay, tip 6. Send proof of Social Security and proof of current address with every letter that you send to the credit bureaus. If you don't, that will stall their 30-day response time to you, and they will send you a stall letter asking you for the proof anyway. Tip 7. Don't dispute items together with someone else ever. People make this mistake all the time. For instance, if you and your spouse are both disputing items on your credit reports, you must dispute separately. Otherwise, you run the risk of having the credit bureaus cross over the data, good and bad, on your files. And this would create months of work in getting those items removed after the fact. Number 8, never send original documents in support of your claim. such as original canceled checks or original letters from creditors. Send only copies and keep the originals for your files. And tip 9, each credit bureau has several different addresses, so I recommend that my clients dispute to various addresses with the different items. This way, they remove the risk of ever having their redispute letters end up in the hands of the person who denied their claim in the first place. You can find a list of these addresses on my site at creditresourcecorp.com. Now, number 10, be realistic, don't give up, follow through, and stay the course. If you walk 50 miles out, you have to come back 50 miles. And although these tips will help you get back faster, know that long-lasting credit improvement, it does take time. Thanks for tuning in to today's session of the Big Score Take Action Plan. Remember, the professional who sent this video to you is someone who is committed to not only helping you find that perfect home or qualify for mortgage financing, but is also committed to your overall financial health. And credit is a big part of that, more than ever before. So if you like this information, call and say thanks, and we encourage you to share it with your family and friends. You can also visit my site at creditresourcecorp.com to learn more about credit score improvement and to order your own copy of my book, The Big Score, Getting It and Keeping It. This is Linda Ferrari saying bye for now, and remember, it's never too late to take action.